I'm Koller. I'm teaching now in the collegiate programs over the summer. During the year, I take part in the continuing education programs. This week's Parashat Shofetim, begins with a mitzvah. It's a little enigmatic. Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha b'chol sha'arecha. A mitzvah to appoint judges and officers in all the gates, in all the cities of Israel. What is the commandment? Rashi says the commandment is Shoftim dayanim. You have laws. I've given you a lot of laws. I'm going to give you some more. You need to have judges to adjudicate when has someone violated the law, when has someone not violated the law. If there's a dispute, who's correct, who's incorrect. And what are the shotrim? Rashi says, Harudim eta'am machar mitzvatan. We need executors. We need people we can send out to make sure that the law is being followed. The shoftim v'shotrim, according to Rashi, are mechanisms to enforce the law, mechanisms to carry out the law. The Ran, Rabbeinu Nisim of Gerona, has a totally different approach to the mitzvah. In his book Drashot Haran, the 11th drasha, the Ran spells out an understanding of shoftim v'shotrim which differs entirely. He says, let's think a little bit about the halachic system. Let's think a little bit about halacha as a practical tool for governing society. How good a tool is it? And his answer is a little surprising, but so true. He says, it's a terrible tool. When I sit down and I say I can only punish someone, I can only punish a murderer if I have two witnesses who are not related to each other or to the victim or to the murderer, and they've properly warned the murderer, saying you may not do this, and if you do this, then you may be subject to capital punishment. And the murderer has to say, I know that I'm doing it anyway. Well, as we all know, there's no way that we're going to be punishing murderers. There's no way we're going to be punishing theft. Society can devolve into chaos and anarchy. And the Ran says, halacha is okay with that in terms of halacha, because halacha is not meant to govern society. This is a debate among the medieval philosophers, commentators. Is halacha practical or not? The Ran comes down very strongly on the side, claiming that halacha is not meant to actually govern society. On the contrary, he says, it's meant to teach wonderful lessons about the divine ideal, but as a mechanism to govern a real society, it's utterly incapable of doing something like that. Well, what are Bnei Yisrael supposed to do then? How are they actually supposed to be governing society? And the Ran says, the answer to that is this mitzvah. Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha b'chol sha'arecha. Appoint courts, judges, officers, executors outside of the halachic system. The Ran claims that these are under the auspices of the king. They're an entirely different legal system. The king is empowered, and this has roots in Maimonides as well. The king is empowered to set up a whole other court system. And this court system, the Ran says, is not bound by Jewish law of evidence, of punishment, and so on, and so on. It has only one witness, no problem. It has only circumstantial evidence, no problem. It can do whatever it sees fit to govern society. According to the Ran, this is a remarkable mitzvah. It's one of the mitzvot, it's a commandment in the Torah, and this commandment is outside of halacha. So you have the Torah, which comprises halacha, and you have parts of the Torah which actually say, but besides halacha, there's something else that's needed. There's something alongside halacha that's needed. Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha b'chol sha'arecha. Besides the halacha, which is impractical, wonderful, beautiful, but impractical, we need to have shoftim v'shotrim that actually are going to take care of society. I find this to be a remarkable idea, because after all, even the Ran would have to say, this is in the Torah. And so the Ran claims, and in this he's following his teacher's teacher, Nachmanides, the Ramban. The Ran claims that there are parts of Torah which are outside of halacha. There are parts of Torah that tell us that halacha is not enough. Halacha doesn't cover all of what the Torah wants from us. The Ramban says this about some other mitzvot, such as, I'll just give one example, V'asita hayashar v'hatov. Earlier in Sefer Dvarim, back in Perek Vav, the Ramban says, what does it mean to do good and just? Well, the Ramban says, the Torah has already given us lots of examples of what it means to be good and just, but the Torah can't possibly cover all circumstances, all cases, all necessary and required actions, activities, and behaviors. And so at the end, the Torah says, be a good and just person. That's not a mitzvah. It's not going to be found in the Shulchan Aruch, but it is part of the Torah. The Ramban and the Ran leave us with a really fascinating question. What is there besides halacha that's also Torah? How much of life is not covered by halacha, but the Torah expects us to cover, to encompass anyway? I'll leave you with that thought. Shabbat Shalom.